Hello, LEGO Transformers fans. This is Soundvox with LEGO Transformers Shockwave. Now we'll start off with a quick size comparison. Here is Shockwave next to a LEGO minifigure. And you can see he looks pretty tall compared to the LEGO minifigure. Now, let's see him next to the head honcho, Megatron. Unfortunately here you can see my Megatron is really tall, so he kind of dwarfs Shockwave pretty badly. So I'll have to eventually rebuild him into a larger scale. And now, let's compare him to Thrust. Thrust is a little smaller, so he is a little more closer to Shockwave's size here. Okay, now let's look at the finer details of Shockwave. Now Shockwave here, he is the second in command. He guarded Cybertron faithfully for Megatron for quite some time. Now looking at Shockwave, one of the key features of him is without one hand, he has a little cannon on his hand. So I simulated this with this pink laser looking piece and a stem piece here. He's got some elbow articulation here as well. Then we turn him this way. We can see his other side has his actual hand. And once again, he's got some elbow articulation thanks to this clip that's here. It's also part of his transformation. Another key feature of Shockwave is he transforms into a laser gun. So his chest is actually the front of the laser gun. So when we bring his chest up closer to the light here, you can kind of see the light gives it this glowing appearance. So it's a form of light piping. I used a translucent Lego piece to give him some light piping. Down at this angle it's a little harder to see because this neat little piece here that juts out a little bit gives us that Shockwave shape, that octagonal, hexagonal shape of his blaster front that the character had. So I love this piece. And there's very few Lego pieces that are actually purple, which makes it hard when making Decepticons since, you know, your Decepticons are purple. And Shockwave particularly is highly made of purple pieces. So I had to get the few purple pieces we had and then gray as well. So he looks a little off because of that. Another cool feature is I use this little piece for his head. It's a little black piece with a bunch of open studs. So when we look at his head, you can see right there, the light piping goes through his head. And there's a translucent piece just behind this cone. And that translucent piece causes it to light right up, which is really cool because Shockwave has that one eye that's always lit looking at you. His feet do look kind of big. He's kind of like more of a Disney looking character, a chibi looking character of Shockwave than he is more of Shockwave because his legs are quite big, his feet. They look like he's got clown shoes. So I do want to rebuild him eventually. Like I said, I want to make him a little taller. But one of the downsides is I have to get a lot more purple pieces in order to make Shockwave taller because obviously he's very purple. Okay, another thing is his head can move. And Shockwave's head is much like his chest. It's got an octagonal shape to it. Now that's kind of hard to make with Lego pieces that are very square, or you have cylindrical pieces here. So I use these cheese wedges here upside down to make that kind of like a slope. And he has these little prongs that come off the side of his head. So they simulate that. And the cone simulates the octagonal shape. And then there's this nice slope piece on top. And that gives it that real dimension to the figure's head. In addition, he's got a little bit of leg articulation. When you look at his legs, he's got knee joints and ankle joints. So there's a tiny bit of movement down there. But as you know, my Transformers don't really move much. They're more, hey, this is one mode, and there's the other mode. Now, we're starting this video a little differently, as Shockwave started in robot mode. And that is because his actual blaster mode, so I did make Shockwave transform into a laser blaster. I know Megatron, I made him a tank instead of a gun. And Shockwave, I decided to try the blaster route, which was very tricky. So, without further ado, let's transform Shockwave. So I'll turn his face forward again. Now it's probably easier to see him from the side view. And one of the downsides, because of this transformation, his legs have to be incredibly long and connect very far back. This causes basically the top of his legs to go all the way up into his back, which looks a little weird. But from the front view, you don't see that as much. So it does give him a squashed look. So what we'll do is we'll start off by pulling his legs back. And then you can pull his feet down. And then his knee joints, we can actually bend those forward. And that gives him kind of like the handle of the laser blaster. Next, we're going to pull his head down. And he's connected on a stem here, which is kind of a good deal because it allows more versatility when pulling him outward and transforming him. Because the hard part was having a crunched together guy, getting him into a longer mode from a sideways area. Then we fold his little hands up and fold his arms backward. So his hands kind of are like the sights at the back of the laser blaster. And then you basically have him in laser blaster mode. Ta-da. Now I'm going to hang on to him for two reasons. Reason one is he's very front heavy because his chest here is made of some more solid pieces. If I let go of his head, whoop, he flips forward. So I have to kind of hold the back of his head. And then you can see the handle here to the blaster. So technically you could hold the handle. And you have the blaster. And once again, the blaster has the translucence pieces to make it look like light piping. Now we'll just flip him back into robot mode because I think that's the more superior mode of this Transformer build. And here he is back in robot mode. So I hope you liked Shockwave. I hope you liked the little stop motion that showed up in the beginning. Shockwave blasting and transforming automatically. If you like that little stop motion, at the end of my videos I usually have a preview of characters to come. And it's usually a little stop motion with Legos and stuff. So stick around for that. Anyways, if you liked this video, give it a like. Leave a comment. Share it with your friends. And stay tuned for a little preview of what's coming down the pipe. Thank you. Coming soon. Huh? What's that? In the sky. Is that a bird? Is that a plane? It's too big to be a bird. Wow, that was weird. Oh well. Huh? What? What was that? Let's take a look. Are those bushes moving? Let me investigate. Let's see what interesting animal there is. Dee 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 dee. Oh, the bushes are moving. Let me get a closer look. Whoa! I'm out of here!